Hello, people. Welcome back to the show. And today, it's not going to be the best day. We're going to have some issues with WWE, but I'm going to try to keep it light before we get into the messy stuff because yesterday was the Met Gala. And as our friend Kenny says, it's the annual elitist dinner of the year.
What? Not to interrupt introductions, but what does the Met Gala actually do?
The Met Gala is a fashion it is a fashion institute. It holds all of the world, some of the world and some of the United States biggest fashion designer, some big pieces, and it's a museum. They're raising money for the museum, essentially. It's turned into a massive showcase of fashion, and this is what we get now in terms of the Met Gala. It's become a big thing. But it is a museum. The Met Gala is a museum of fashion, and that's where you go to learn about fashion. This year's theme was costume art. I don't think everyone understood the assignment.
They never understand the assignment fully.
Especially those who were on the board. Jeff Bezos, we're talking to you and your weird Mar-a-Lago face looking wife. Okay.
Okay, hang on. I gotta open something if we're talking about that. Hang on. There you go.
Now, the
I'm doing this episode sober.
The reason why I'm bringing it up is because it crosses over into wrestling territory when The Rock shows up. So The Rock was at the Met Gala yesterday, and you will never guess what they focused on with The Rock in terms of what he wore. Now, oftentimes, the celebrities will borrow, outfits, pieces, haute couture from major design houses like Robert One. He was a big designer. He had a really big night at the Met Gala yesterday. There were at least 4 or 5 celebrities wearing Robert One, but it's costume art, and Robert One just designs costume art religiously, and it's usually something in the horror sphere. You really need to take a look at Robert One on YouTube and his fashion his runway shows for each season, because they are a spectacle. And because, Alexis, you like a little bit of horror in your life, I think that you would really like Robert One. It's a nice thing to look at.
I'll check him out.
Yeah, another designer that will be considered something that's wearable art is Schiaparelli. Schiaparelli does a lot of avant-garde pieces, like he has these nude style bust lines with the heavy drapery dress where it looks like the dress is peeling off. That's something that Kylie Jenner wore yesterday. Schiaparelli does, like, he has scorpion like gowns with the scorpion tail coming over their heads. Like, he has some really cool pieces. Nobody wore anything like that to Met Gala yesterday, which pissed me off to no end.
Okay.
Nobody did it.
I just want to know. These people have unlimited sources.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian has destroyed Americana art, squeezing her fat ass in the Marilyn Monroe dress.
Well, she didn't do that this time, but she did wear something that's similar to what she wore last year, which was just it was like a bodysuit, and it had a skirt. It didn't do anything. It wasn't worth the time or the effort it took to get her in it, if that makes sense. It was supposed to be
what I'm just trying to say is that these people have unlimited funds.
Yeah.
How after year, they keep hitting, or they kept missing the mark.
I don't know.
The only time marks were not missed is when they did Karl Lagerfeld, and fuck that guy.
Even then, when they did that, it was boring. Okay.
There's nothing cool.
No, and that's the thing. Like fashion, especially nowadays, especially with a lot of fashion designers that are out, there are so many fashion designers that people could have dug into, and they should have gone. And one place I didn't get to see, some things I didn't get to see that I wish they would have, is gone to the Nigerian designers and gotten their dresses from the Nigerian designers. They could have really put African designers on the map, and they chose not to, and that pissed me off because I'm like, most African designer dresses, especially the really big high fashion haute couture dresses, those damn things are intricate pieces.
Oh my God, they tell stories. Are you kidding me?
And that's why I was so angry, because you had the ability to do so much and everybody always does something so safe. It's like, why are you here? The only person that I know for sure goes balls to the wall, there's two, is Heidi Klum when it's something that has to do with costumes, and Benito, Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
Bad Bunny's costume yesterday was fire. He came in with a nice suit, but he was dressed like an old man. And I was like
that. It's Halloween. It's Halloween on steroids. Why do you not want to take it to the next level? I don't.
You're wearing $1 million pieces, and I just don't get it. But
girl, I have seen people on TikTok get patterns from like McCall Patterns or Simplicity or whatever.
Yeah, and create
and they make, oh my God, they make stuff better than that crap.
Now, some of the dresses that I saw, and we'll get to the rock in a second, so I'm sorry for taking too long. But when you get to like some of the dresses that upcycled, vintage dresses, upcycled, dresses that they got from like thrift stores and consignment shops, I didn't mind that at all, because that is art. You're taking several pieces and turning it into something completely different, and a different gown, the fit and everything. And I thought that was clever. That is a very clever way to bring in the theme without going too on the nose and still create something wearable and beautiful. So I thought it was cool. Now, we got to go back to how wrestling fits into this, because The Rock was there at the Met Gala, and The Rock had on a suit. It wasn't anything special, so whatever. But this is where things get a little bit eat the rich type of shit, okay? The Rock had on a $3.3 million watch.
I'm sorry, how much?
Let me repeat it.
How much?
The Rock had on a $3.3 million watch.
Do you realize what we could do with $3.3 million?
Yeah, like pay the wrestlers you keep trying to cut their contracts for. Pay those wrestlers you keep cutting contracts for. You could do that. Anyways.
Again, I ain't doing the show filler.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is on the board of TKO, the parent company of WWE, and he wore a Jacob & Co. Billionaire 3 valued at $3.3 million at the 2026 Met Gala. The watch is pretty large. If you know about watches and everything, it's about 54 millimeters. So it's a pretty big watch on the wrist. It's got a pretty big face. It's a massive watch. Even in a picture where you're quite far away from him, you're going to see it. To give you some perspective, the watch has 714 white diamonds totaling 129.61 carats of diamonds. Including 504 diamonds set into the actual bracelet.
I just have a question. Has anyone ever been robbed at the Met Gala?
I don't know, man.
I know there's people out here who can't pay their rent or have food, and you walk around with a watch with real white diamonds on it.
Now, here's why this sucks, because a lot of celebrities decided they were boycotting the Met Gala this year because Jeff Bezos and his wife were a part of the board of the Met Gala, and they didn't like that. Now, here's where the controversy comes in. Here's where the controversy comes in with some of that, though. You see, from what we understand, Jeff Bezos' wife wanted to be the only person on the red carpet to exclusively wear Schiaparelli, which is why you only saw, well, at least that's what's being alleged. At least that's what they're yelling and screaming about, is that is the reason why you've only seen one other person on the red carpet in Schiaparelli, and there was nobody else wearing Schiaparelli at the Met Gala. It is because she requested that she was the only one, and they paid Schiaparelli enough money to do that. At least that's what they're alleging.
So that basic ass prom dress with Schiaparelli?
Yep.
Honey, I saw 3 girls wear that at my senior prom. Same dress, same shade. It was very awkward. I just think it's funny when you think there's like a costume art, and then you put Jeff Bezos on the freaking board.
So to give you guys a perspective why we're talking about this, again, like some of you might have come in a little bit late, and it's because The Rock was featured at the Met Gala, and he wore a $3.3 million Jacob & Co. watch. That was very, very eye-catching. It was massive. When they were taking pictures, that thing was gleaming. That was the first thing that you saw, was that big-ass, ridiculously gaudy watch. But to go back to Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez, Bezos served as lead sponsors and honorary co-chairs of the 2026 Met Gala, reportedly spending $10 million to $15 million for the role. While Sanchez walked the red carpet, Alexis.
No, money can buy you anything except class.
Jesus. While Sanchez walked the red carpet in a Schiaparelli gown, Bezos avoided the steps and protesters, resulting in a high-profile, controversy-driven event marred by boycotts and accusations of worker exploitation. Okay, so the role of the Met Gala, the key Met Gala details is roles and funding, okay? Honorary chairs, the couple heavily funded the event and supports the Costume Institute. In protests and backlash came from activist groups, including Everyone Hates Elon.
That's a nice name.
That's an amazing name.
I wonder what they do.
I love that. Everybody Hates Elon targeted Bezos over labor conditions at Amazon. Protesters highlighted allegations of workers needing to use bottles of urine, scattering mock piss bottles near the museum. Jesus. And projecting boycott the Bezos Met Gala onto his Manhattan penthouse. They also projected videos from former disgruntled Amazon workers and current Amazon workers where Jeff Bezos has targeted them or said something disparaging about them. And they had messages for Bezos. Like, they were going at his neck all night. Full on Donald Trump style shit.
There was actually a group, really cool about they did this. They had their own fashion show, like a couple of blocks down from the Met Gala, and it was all like black designers, Hispanic designers, basically POC creators, and everything was made by hand. Nothing was ordered by Amazon.
Yeah, they had
and those were freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, they had another a counter party for celebrities who didn't want to go, and it was pretty cool. They had them doing dances and all kind of shit.
They were, I don't know, some of the models, they were serving, if you excuse my whiteness. Jeff Bezos is a horrible human being, and his wife looks like she's melting.
That's because she is. If I recall, she's the one that he cheated on his ex-wife with.
Oh, and the ex-wife is gorgeous.
That's because she minds her business.
You know what she did with the payout from their divorce?
Yeah.
She gave it to charity.
Yep. And she still gets, I think she still gets out. No, she got a settlement. She got a settlement.
I don't know, but I know she gave a good chunk of his money to the charity. But I have another question.
Hmm.
That was a borrowed gaudy watch, right?
I want to
Because of
say it
everything
is
that went
borrowed. I want to say it is borrowed, but The Rock he not no slouch when it comes to money. But I want to say it is borrowed. A lot of things are borrowed when it comes to the Met Gala. Nobody generally keeps an outfit for Met Gala unless it's like custom made for them. Then they keep it. Then they keep it. But to give you more perspective on Lauren Sanchez's outfit and why it was a flop, but I
it
went
was
to
a prom
Vogue.
dress.
I went to Vogue. I went to Vogue to see like what exactly it was supposed to be, you know, like because they usually will take art concept and make the clothes out of that. So I was like, okay, well, let me see what it was about. So here's what Vogue said. It says before her appearance tonight at the Met Gala, garden-inspired carpet, honorary chair Lauren Sanchez Bezos had a packed weekend. Of course, there were the typical getting ready appointments, facial, blah, blah, blah. Final fitting with Schiaparelli, creative director Daniel Roseberry, but she also did something a little out of the ordinary. Hell, she's weird. She said she went to the New York Fire Department for training. I don't understand why. You're a stupid bitch.
She also
Anyways,
said she lost 2 pounds before she put the dress on. I'm like, doing what?
I hate her and everything she stands for. Anyway, I hate her and everything she stands for. Okay, so the dress is in reference to one of the most famous portraits at the Met's collection. It's Madame X by John Singer Sargent. Sargent's 1883 masterwork has a storied history. The portrait originally depicted French socialite Madame Pierre Gaureau or Gautreau. I'm sorry if I'm saying her name wrong. I apologize. In a black fitted gown with one strap subtly slipping off her shoulder, a detail that caused such an uproar that Sargent repainted the strap upright. Sargent hid the painting for 3 decades because of its controversy, eventually selling it directly to the Met with a note of sadness. I suppose it is the best thing I have done. Oh, over a fallen strap, weirdos. Y'all weird.
You gotta
Anyway,
understand, back then that was pornographic. Like if they came now and saw like what Cardi B and Meg were doing,
it's
they
weird.
died.
I don't care what anyone says. It's weird. There's a package outside, by the
But
way.
like, I just get this about the Met, and then we can move on to wrestling.
Side, I think.
But like, if you have a theme like costume art, there is so many things you can pull from and do. Like, I would do something better than hers. Like, I would do like Dolly's melting clock painting.
Yeah.
But I would have like, you know how like it looks like they have armor for a corset.
Mm-hmm.
You make it out of melting clock, and then you have like glowing, different hued fabric, not like a full skirt, but enough for it to be like glowy. That would be a print of the actual painting. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I just come up with that.
Girl, look. They decided they was going to do whatever they wanted to do. The rich was out there eating the rich, I guess. I don't know.
Speaking of eating the rich.
Well.
TKO.
Okay. WWE. We saw them trim the fat and what they considered to be trimming the fat. They got rid of a bunch of wrestlers. Some of them were not being used for over 2 years, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Others were just seen on television. And then more recently, 2 wrestlers were cut in JC Mateo and Tongaloa right after they had an interaction with Jacob Fatu. Now, afterwards, we saw that Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston both left WWE. And the question on our minds was, what the fuck is going on? Because we were for sure that they were lifers in WWE. They're multi-time tag team champions. Kofi's a multi-time IC champion, multi-time US champion. He's a former WWE champion. So it's not lost on us that we didn't think they would even be up for release. Their contracts weren't even up. And that's the part that really fucking sucked, is that their contracts weren't up. What happened was TKO decided to restructure their contracts under the TKO banner, under their contractual setup. And because of that, they could not come to any agreement on the terms of their actual contracts. They couldn't agree on what they deserved and what they wanted. They couldn't agree on TKO's side to give them that. And so Kofi and Xavier were like, well, I think it's best if we just go our separate ways then. TKO agreed and they walked. This obviously sent shockwaves through the fan base. All of us were pissed and sad because we love Kofi and Xavier. I wrote them a nice letter online because I wanted them to see how I felt about both of them. Yep. And I posted it to our podcast and I posted it to my personal page. I also posted it to YouTube over here and I posted it over on Threads. So you could see it pretty much everywhere except for TikTok. I don't use TikTok anymore. I was so upset because I love Kofi and I still feel like Kofi got the short end of the stick for a lot of things, right? And a lot of people were like, you know, they didn't really do anything with New Day after New Day got the turn with Big E, after they really shunned Big E and turned on him. They gave them the tag team titles. Is to say they didn't do anything is to say they didn't really have any big marquee moments, right? They did use it. Like, it was big heat. They did have the tag team titles on them. They were seen just about weekly. And then all of a sudden, that started to trickle down to nothing. Then they dropped the titles. I don't remember who they dropped them to. I want to say
War Raiders.
No, because they got the titles from War Raiders at Mania that year.
Oh. Didn't they drop them the Judgment Day then?
I don't know. I want to say it was AJ Styles and Dragon Lee who they got the titles from, but that's not true because they got the titles from Judgment Day. I don't remember. It wasn't Judgment Day because Finn was still in Judgment Day then, and
also, where the fuck is the War Raiders?
They popped up in AAA, and other than that, they're there. They haven't been, released unless something else come up, because you never know with these fuckers.
So I actually talked to a coworker of mine. Used to be a big UFC fan. Keyword being used to, or keywords being used to.
Right.
And I was talking to him about TKO because he asked me about it and he heard about it on he got updates on his phone. And I said they have pissed off the entire wrestling community. At least WWE standards. And there are some people who are not WWE fans. Because they're ruining it.
Yeah.
And I told Piss and Nicole earlier this week, when this deal happened, we told y'all not to get happy, not to get comfy. Because they were going to pull some shit the same way they pulled UFC. And then after, when they bought UFC, very slowly but surely, they priced everybody out. And it was the people who made UFC, the fans, all that. I think they even stopped watch parties for a while. Or like restaurants and bars to be able to show the fights. And I told him they're doing the same thing to WWE. He's like, He goes, I hate to tell you, but shit's about to go down. And I said, oh, no, it's all about to go down. No one's happy about Mania. They're going to Saudi Arabia next year. So that's
Oh, you were right.
2028,
I'm sorry
27.
to cut you off. They dropped the titles to Judgment Day.
Oh, okay.
It
Because
was
it was
in
one of those
June
things
of
where it's like,
last
why did
year.
they win that?
They dropped them to Judgment Day in June of last year, and then Judgment Day dropped them to AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. I didn't even.
I look. I have been a Kofi Kingston fan since day one. He was the kind of guy who he went to work, he put on a hell of a show, he went home, and he didn't get in trouble. Like and he did everything. Everyone's like, oh, John Cena's the company guy. No, Kofi was the company guy. He took shots when he didn't need to. He ate shit when he shouldn't have. And it pisses me off because, and then Xavier was probably the most entertaining person I've seen in WWE in a really long time. And I bet you more than anything, because I got into a conversation with somebody online, TKO wanted part of that up, down, down money. I bet you more than anything they wanted a piece of that. Because they are greedy motherfuckers. Like, I'm just gonna go off on a tangent because this is something that's really been screwing with me. So you released all the Wyatt Six. They didn't even. They got the tag titles once. Why wasn't someone chasing after that U.S. title on SmackDown? Why wasn't Nikki Cross chasing it after that title? And the only thing that you let them flourish with, and I use that term loosely, is that feud with MFT. And then the next thing you know, they're all gone. Because as soon as Nikki was released, I was like, oh shit. Now Dexter's gone. JC's gone. Bo's gone. And then I see people where it's like, well, they weren't doing nothing anyway. And I'm like, because creative don't know what to do with them. They should have been running Rush Shot on SmackDown. They should have did what they did for Judgment Day for the Wyatt Six. Had belts on them at all times. And let them just be this creepy force on SmackDown. And it's just like everybody else is getting released. And it's just, this is just coming from me. I know WWE has a hard time trying to connect with creepy, dark characters. Because I even have to remember, Bray Wyatt got released at one point.
True.
Not everybody who watches WWE and even in wrestling in general, there's a good subculture of us that don't want the happy, peppy, always smiling, stereotypically pretty, handsome, whatever. Like that's why I fear. Like I know I take Tatum for like the next big star, but now I'm afraid for her to get pulled up to that main roster. Same with Shiloh, because Sean knows how to use these characters. I don't know where the disconnect comes between NXT and the main roster, but they don't know what they're doing with these folks. And it's just, I love Bianca, I love Charlotte, I love all, I love a lot of people. But when I see a girl who's creepy and not stereotypically pretty, that connects with me, man. And it's just like every time we get someone like that, unless it's Rhea or Bliss, and that took a while to get there, we don't get nothing. They don't even get out the gate. And then they want to spend all this time building up MFT. But now Jeff Cobb and Tomaloa's gone. Tomatonga can't stop getting in trouble.
He only got in trouble for posting their practice. That was it.
He shouldn't have done that. I don't understand why he did that.
He was like, "Yeah, it was a mistake. I get it." And that was the end of that. He left that where it was.
But then all you have now is him and Solo. And I'm gonna be honest, and I'll probably catch Tama, yeah. But I'm gonna be honest. MFT carried Solo. I'm sorry, like the pitchforks can come for me and shit, but like Solo's done nothing. Oh, he's become US champ. Yeah, his first match he won after a 56 match losing streak.
Jesus Christ.
You know, and I know not everybody has that same opinion. They don't want to see the Nikki Crosses and you know and fucking Tatum's and shit. But you know what? That's not for you. That's for other people. And you know, I'm gonna steal a line from Nicole. If we're not all eating at the same table, that's not good. And it low-key pisses me off because, and I'm not trying not to cry, because I actually cried about this. And I felt stupid for crying about it.
Oh, you have to feel stupid.
No, I mean, because it's like, I'm not that, it's so rude, damn it, guy. But it's like, I never felt pretty growing up. I never felt attractive growing up, and I always liked weird, dark shit. So when I saw wrestlers like that on my TV, I was automatically drawn to that because that was for me. Right. It wasn't the pretty, petty blonde girls. And it's just every time they have cuts, those are the first girls to go. Because we also lost Alba Fire.
Yeah, but they just wanted her. They didn't know how to use her, which I don't understand how you didn't know how to use her. Alba Fire was one of your best wrestlers in that company. Really?
And then in hindsight, there's your house phone again. You know, Isla Dawn from the last round of cuts, she's gorgeous. She's blonde. She's pretty. You know, she still had the dark side to her. She had a draw. They cut her. It's like, do the creepy chicks not get anything?
I think that when it comes to this kind of stuff, is not that you guys don't get anything. It's just that some people don't know how to book them. They don't know how to use them. And or they're so enraptured with what they have, with what they know is already on top, that they're not willing to put in the work to put the other people over there. They will exhaust someone like Tiffany Stratton, gas her up, give her everything, and leave someone like Alba Fire and Isla Dawn on the table, even though they're better wrestlers, they're better storytellers, they have the chops. It doesn't matter. It's because they don't fit the aesthetic of what everybody else expects. But that's what makes them stand out the most. That is the reason why Rhea Ripley stands out. That is the reason why everybody is so infatuated with her, because of her look, because she darkened her hair and she, leaned into the things that she liked, with the oddities and the music and just the aesthetic of that gothic, emo, punk rock mix of a girl, and that's her thing. We're all fine with that. But when you're talking about Americanized television, centralized, going across the world, it's always going to be the pretty white blonde with the big fake boobs.
It's just, I don't get it. And Alba Fire could wrestle circles around Tiffany Stratton.
I believe she would have been a great adversary for Tiffany Stratton too. I think that they wasted, and there's no shade to Chelsea. I think at first having Alba Fire there with Chelsea was fine, but I think after Chelsea lost the title, like around that first time, they should have split them up and let Chelsea be on her own. They should have had Alba attacking Tiffany Stratton behind the scenes, getting a title shot from her. This should have happened way before Jade Cargill started fighting with Tiffany Stratton for the title, because the way they stretched it out, they could have had plenty of time with Alba Fire before they hit with Jade Cargill, and they could have had a marquee match at SummerSlam with Tiffany Stratton and Alba Fire, and Tiffany could have went over, and then you could have had Jade Cargill come in and go after Tiffany at SummerSlam and stretch that out even further. You didn't use what you had on the roster, and that's what is the most annoying part about all of this, is the fact that they don't think things through. They're very one-noted. Everything is all just one little circle, and if something doesn't fit, they just cut it. They don't think about how it can actually work. And that's the part that I really don't care for. I really don't like. She was more unique when she was tittyless. Oh, Jesus. Don, please.
My thing is just, we're always screaming for new people. And I'll be one of the loudest people to be like, we need people on TV. They don't use them. They get released. And I'm sorry to feel like a bitch about this, or if I piss somebody off. I don't care about any of the new signings. I don't care about people being brought up.
I do.
I just kind of feel that way right now. Like, maybe, like, I'm happy for Soul, but like, I can't when people are like already shitting on her, and they never even given her a chance. And she's the one who can pass for, happy, peppy cheerleader type.
I think what people have a big problem with is how TKO is running over everything. They're bulldozing through everything. And I don't like that, but I don't take it out on the wrestlers. I mean, a lot of the wrestlers have no control over anything. And we don't watch the show for TKO. We watch the show for the wrestlers. We support them. And that's where the conundrum comes in, because we're all sitting here and we're like, okay, if all of us stop watching, these guys could end up losing their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could end up working out negatively on them. But then you gotta take a stand somewhere. And it's not that we don't want to watch the shows or that we're not there, because the shows are still selling out. People are still putting asses in seats. But your big marquee shit is not working for you anymore because you're too busy concerned about helping your rich buddies get money, and you're doing it. And then it's like, people go after Triple H a lot for a lot of things. And we've learned, and I've said this so many times, while Triple H is head of creative, true enough, he has some input when it comes to firings, but it seems that this time around the input wasn't as significant as it was in the past. I don't think for a minute that he wanted to get rid of any of the people they let go, except for those who they didn't really use on television. Someone like Zoe, who had been off TV for almost 2, maybe 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even release Piper, and Piper's still out with an injury. So it really has nothing to do with injuries. You know what I'm saying? It's just people are getting released, the contracts are getting lifted and done, and they do this every year. That doesn't bother me, because I know the people who have great self-worth, high work ethic, and are determined to do what they want to do, they're going to go somewhere else and they're going to shine all day, every day. I'm well aware of that. So I'm not concerned or worried when people leave. What I'm angry about is the way that it's happening. And now we're getting notifications, like we're getting things from the dirt sheets that are saying that TKO are offering other superstars 50% contract cuts. They want them to take a pay cut in order to stay in the E. And this is coming from Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful. But Wrestle Purist also reported this. And in that report, Wrestle Purist quoted PW Insider with Mike Johnson. So it says, and I quote, a pretty majorly pushed WWE talent was asked to take a 50% pay cut and allegedly did. According to, I guess who they were talking to, it says, I'm not naming the talent because I have no way yet to confirm this was the case. But the timing of that claim and what happened the very next day with Kofi and Woods was very, very interesting to say the least. As always, until fully confirmed, take that for what it is. But the timing, especially coming out of WrestleMania season, is notable. So a lot of people are contributing what happened to some of the superstars, the pay cut allegation that they requested of a major superstar, to the lack of ticket sales for WrestleMania, the money that they lost for WrestleMania in its entirety. But we don't know what they lost for Mania because we don't have access to that. But I know they
that's
lost
their
something.
own damn fault. First off, they shouldn't have gone back to Vegas. Like,
Yeah.
how stupid are they?
Now they're going to Riyadh. They're going to Riyadh in June, which I think is stupid. They're still fighting over there. Like we just there's a story I have to put out for Pop Culture Wednesday tomorrow. Spirit Airlines is shut down. They are gone. Okay. There is no more Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines literally shut down. What was it? Monday morning at 3:00 in the morning. Closed
Yes, ma'am.
all of their customer service places inside the airports. They shut down their customer service line. People can't get refunded for their tickets. There are people who had to buy tickets that for another airline because they were stranded, did not get their fucking money back. They lost all their money. I'm gonna explain that on my podcast. I promise I'm gonna do it. But it's crazy what's happening, and it's all is happening because they couldn't afford to fuel all their planes.
Yep.
They couldn't afford to fuel them. And you are irresponsible, WWE. You're irresponsible with your superstars. The way you're going to have to insure them while they're over there, the amount of money you're going to have to spend on insurance on people like Roman, on people like Cody Rhodes, on people like CM Punk if he goes. You have to insure these major superstars with a lot of money. Your insurance is going to go through the fucking roof trying to make sure that these guys are safe going and coming. And we've already seen how the planes going out of Saudi Arabia, Dubai, and everywhere in the Middle East are not operating the way that they should due to the fact that they are constantly worried about attacks from Iran. And your first instinct was like, we're going to go anyway. So buckle up, buttercups.
First off,
no.
There's no way in hell, because if they're already going back there for Night of Champions, that shows they honestly don't give a shit.
They're going.
Because back in the Gulf War, little wrestling history here for you guys, Sergeant Slaughter had an Sergeant Slaughter went heel. He went anti-American because this was the Gulf War, so he sided with the Iron Sheik. And they were supposed to have like SummerSlam or something at this one Coliseum. They kept getting bomb threats. And I don't mean to laugh. But they had to move to like a smaller stadium. It's not safe.
I'm not surprised.
And it's not safe. It's Also, just to get back to TKO real quick, I yeah, when I read that, pissed me off so bad because I want names. I need to know who is the dick, who's the big name. Because everyone's saying it's Roman, but I don't think it'd be Roman.
It's not Roman. They confirmed it wasn't Roman. Everybody starts freaking out because Roman was pulled from all of the June dates, which he wasn't.
Okay.
He is scheduled to be in all of the June dates. I think Roman is going to work all the way up until SummerSlam. And then he's probably going to take a long hiatus.
So here's
he's fine.
If you take that 50% pay cut to anybody else's job, take me for example, and you're just talking about Spirit Airlines, I work for a logistics company up the East Coast. Those fuel prices are hitting us bad. And if it gets to a certain point, we don't know if we're going to be able to be doing the shipments as much as we do. I.e., that starts affecting the IT people. That means me. So if my job came up to me, now mind you, I'm only making $20.19 an hour. Plus I have health insurance for me and my daughter coming out of my paycheck. Okay? If my job came up to me and said, you have 48 hours to choose whether to take a 50% pay cut or get fired, or you can get fired, I would be sitting on my ass for the next few months collecting unemployment checks. I know it's not the same as wrestling, but this is why we need unions for wrestling or for wrestlers. Because no one should have to be like, well, this big guy took a 50% pay cut, so now you should do it too to be a team player. That's why I need to know the name, because they need to jump his ass or her ass like it was the NXT parking lot.
I don't think that was the case. I don't think that was the thing, though. I think that he or she, we don't know who it was. They took the pay cut because they didn't mind doing it. I don't think that was the precedence, but I do think that it led to them offering Xavier and Kofi the if what we're hearing is true. To be fair, if what we're hearing is true, fine. It's at their discretion to take whatever they want to take. They can choose whatever they want. But Kofi and Woods were not going to just go and say, no, we're taking a pay cut. No, we're not doing that. This is our rate. You can pay us our rate or we're leaving. TKO was like, well, it's time for you to go then. Fine. I don't think that is something that they have to be, like going off on somebody else about them taking a pay cut. They're more than happy to do that. I mean, look what happened with Hulk Hogan when you talk about the unions. Like, Hulk Hogan dry snitched on them niggas trying to set up this union. And because of that, he was forever in Vince's favor. He was always favored. No matter what was done, Vince always took his side. Vince always gave him what he wanted, which is exactly what he needed. This is what he asked for. That's how he became the American hero that he was to some people, okay? When you're looking at this person who took this pay cut, they probably just wanted to stay. And I'm not even trying to take up for them. They probably was like, look, I don't mind being on TV. I'll take a pay cut. I don't need, my contract as it is, blah, 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 whatever. Now, they're saying it's a big name. We don't know the name. We don't know the person. All we know is that they took a pay cut. We know that there are certain people at the top who make millions every year in their contract. Brock Lesnar's contract, Brock Lesnar's in the midst of being sued by WWE. From what I heard, for him quitting earlier than what they said, from what he said he was going to do. He wasn't supposed to be done with WWE until SummerSlam. But because he threw up the X at Mania and cut and was done at Mania, put his boots in the ring at Mania, This threw WWE into a loop, especially with Obafemi, because now there's nothing for him, which is why he's just showing up doing open challenges every week. Now, when you're looking at the person who took the pay cut, like I said, there's so many people at the top. Any number of those people could have been the one outside of Roman Reigns. To clarify a few things, because some people think that it was Roman, like I said earlier, due to the things that was happening with his booking. Let's go straight facts. Number one, there's nothing wrong with Roman's booking. He is still being booked all the way until SummerSlam, from my understanding. Number two, they announced that it was a clerical error, that there's nothing wrong with his booking. He will be there in June because the summer tour starts in May. Right at the end of May. They're going to be overseas for the entire month of June. He's definitely going to be at those dates, okay? So he's not going anywhere for a while. And then you're looking at the fact that a lot of people are like, well, Roman's got the biggest contract right now out of everybody. So he probably was the one that took the pay cut. You have to think about the person that you're talking about. Roman Reigns is not going to take a fucking pay cut. He's too arrogant to do it. I'm not even trying to be funny. He's just too arrogant to do it. He's not going to take a pay cut. If anything, he'll tell you some names of people that they get rid of. Because he's going to be like, I know my worth. My name alone will get people in these seats. I'm not going no fucking where. So unless you got another way to pay me, I'm not doing nothing without being compensated my rate. He's not going to do that. He is the true definition of an alpha male with all of the toxicity and bravado. He is not going to just sit down and be like, okay, I'm a company man. I'll do what you ask. He's not going to do that. Especially now that y'all have put him on this pedestal. That's not fucking happening. Okay? It's not happening. But here's the thing. One, you have to ask, why are they asking people to take pay cuts? Why are they doing that? But not only are they asking people to take pay cuts, there are people who were longtime employees also getting fired within the actual company, not just their independent contractors. They also are cutting paid employees, contractual employees, and salaried employees, hourly salaried employees are getting cut. So while Mark Shapiro is running around trying to convince everybody that WWE is doing great, that is not a good sign of a company that is doing great. That is a sign of a company that is trying to plug a hole somewhere, that something is bleeding and they don't know where it is. So they're going around trying to piece and shave where they can to stop the bleeding. Something's wrong. I can't quite put my finger on it, but something's wrong. Because you don't need to fire anyone if you're profiting, if you're making decent money.
But see, they say that every year, and that's the thing that gets me. They always say every year they have record profits, they have record this, they have record that. I think they're lying. I think they're hemorrhaging money. So, do you want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Sure.
Okay. So, again, we told y'all not to get comfortable when TKO bought WWE. Also, I feel like we need to sit here and remind people who are crying for Vince McMahon to come back. Vince sold this company to TKO being mad petty because he got ousted out for serious allegations.
Right.
But you motherfuckers are still sitting here wanting to suck this old man's dick. Because you're like, come save us, Vince. Vince is the reason why we're in this mess in the first place.
Yep.
And I'm not going to sit here and say we'd be better off if like Triple H and Stephanie were the ones still in charge. We'd still be mad about some shit along that too. But that's alternate universe Tiff, Alexis, Nicole, and Janae's problems. Okay. We got to deal with this shit that's going on here now. We warned y'all. We told y'all. There is an episode when we're recording, and I told Tiff and Nicole something in my gut does not fit right. Something doesn't seem right. I don't like the way my stomach feels about this. And that's when they had officially fought it. And I'm actually kind of glad that Jay White fell through the cracks because he would have been released. But again, y'all are so worried about Vince. Y'all missed the call from Jay White. And he's in AEW.
I don't think he would have been released if he had been used. The problem I have with a lot of people that were released were people who either were not getting over with their gimmick or they weren't getting used. So let's just be realistic about it, okay? Let's not even talk about the people. We're going to be just realistic about who got released. JC Mateo and Tongaloa. I'm not gonna lie, they're a drop in the bucket when it comes to a ripple effect that's gonna change anything about WWE, whether they're gone or there. If they left MFTs, the only thing Tongaloa would have been able to do is to get back with Tama to get God off the ground. When Tama was to go singles, let's say Tama went by himself, Tongaloa would get lost in the sauce. He eventually would have gotten released anyway. And this is no shade. I can't stress this enough. It's no shade to anyone, but you're talking about somebody who has to be able to function on their own in a storyline, grab attention on their own in the storyline, and then be great in the ring as well. And while Tongaloa is at the median line and JC Mateo is great in the ring, he doesn't grab anyone's attention character-wise. He doesn't have it. You're in a market where you've got to be able to exhibit both, and you either have to have somebody on your team to really get you over, to make it so that you're worthwhile, or your talent and your physical presence has to be undeniable. This is how Brock Lesnar was able to get by without having to be one of those guys that talk. He was a brutalizer, so it worked for him. JC Mateo, while he's a great wrestler and he's awesome in the ring, there was nothing that he could provide unless he had a handler to do it for him. The same thing with Tongaloa. There was nothing imposing about Tongaloa. And while I liked him, I think that he was great in the ring, he didn't provide any presence other than what was given to him through the MFTs.
Okay, so I'm going to leave character and stuff out of the conspiracy theory. Okay. So, I think because for a while, I'm not going to lie, we were riding pretty good. Vince was gone, the scripts were coming out, wrestlers were putting on better matches, they were doing better promos, everybody happy. And then TKO started doing shit, and it was like, I get it, we've said it too, they're like, oh, well, you know, advertisements everywhere, they're trying to give it like that UFC boxing big match feel. Okay, I'll sit here and eat crow. I'll do that. But then you just started noticing things. And I think this year alone, just when they had originally announced they were going to New Orleans for WrestleMania, then they turned around and went back to Vegas. I think that pissed a lot of people off. Like a lot of people off. And then, and this is just my opinion, so no one really comes to me on this shit. A lot of the matches from Mania weren't really Mania quality. Like, this is shit that could have been done at, like, Backlash or Money in the Bank for buffer matches between the Money in the Bank match. And then you gotta talk about pricing, because we had it good. We had it so good with WWE Network, and then they moved to Peacock, and it was only like $9.99 a month. But this is what I'm trying to tell people when I explain that to them. is that even if we didn't feel like watching a pay-per-view or a PLE, excuse me, and it was just bad, we could turn it off and watch something else. Like, even when it got to Peacock, there, yeah, I had WWE on it, but there was other stuff for you to watch on there as well. So paying, $5-10 a month for a big library like that, not a big problem because we were already paying $10 a month for WWE, and everything was good. Everyone was happy. We're like, okay. And then they said they announced they were going to ESPN Plus, and they said they were going to do it like this was back in 2025. They were going to do it later in 2026, and then 2 days later, it seemed like. Sorry if this takes me long because I have echo in my headphone. I have a new phone. I still haven't figured out the bugs on it yet. So they decided to move there, and people are already at this point cutting back on streaming services. They don't want to have to get ESPN Plus, and I get it. That's where the WWE library is. Okay, whatever. But then you have to pay additional for the show, for the PLE. And I'm sorry, if the matches aren't good or if the build-up's not good, I'm not, and it's not the fact that I can't afford it. I can afford it. But I'm not going to sit there and waste money and watch it be a shit-ass show. And it's just, I think it's just everyone's anger and frustration has finally came to a point, and I think Vegas was really the tipping point for everything, because now people are just, I mean, it's the same thing we got last year with the John Cena tour, like his retirement tour, the heel turn that we've been waiting for decades, and it didn't mean shit.
And you know what? That wasn't even, in John Cena's defense, it wasn't entirely his fault.
I'm not blaming John.
No, it's just the way that they rest on a lot of people, and then when they didn't come through or when things started to fail, they didn't have any backup plans. There was no contingency. And then John got to wing it. It looks like crap, but John's going to, John's a company guy. He's going to do it all day long. I am not necessarily of the school of thought that it's like, how can I explain it? The idea, I said, some people contacted me and was like, yeah, I'm canceling my membership for ESPN. I don't want to watch the pay-per-views. It wasn't worth the money I spent on Mania, so I'm not doing it. I was like, that's fine. I don't pay for ESPN Plus. It is absorbed into my Hulu, so I don't pay for it. So to me, I could take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to watch Night of Champions this year. I'm not watching Crown Jewel this year. I'm not watching Mania this year if they're going over the Saudis still. I don't want to watch that. It's not that I'm like, well, I say it all the time. If you're going to, protest, then, I mean, you got to do it all the way. You can't half step. You know what I'm saying? If you're pissed about Jeff Bezos and his bullshit, you can't shop on Amazon. You just can't.
And you know what? I mean, I hate going store to store because gas is freaking an arm and a leg. I have this. Listen. I understand we all shop from Amazon. It's easy because you're like, oh, the shirt that I want.
Yeah,
cool. I can get it without having to go.
I can get makeup. I can get hair. I can get clothes, food, all of that in one place, and it gets to me in like 2 days, bare minimum,
or same day, or Sunday, or something like that.
Right.
But you look. This is the best way to do it. To think about it. I bought a shirt from Amazon, and it looks cute, and it looks 70s. You got a little collar, and it's striped. Very 70s, like it looks 70s. I got the shirt, and it's cheap as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had to return it because I was pretty sure if I put this thing on, I was going to rip it. Like, if I sneezed wrong, if I moved wrong, if I
Not the
raised my
sneeze.
hand, girl, it was super thick. And it didn't look like that. And I understand when you shop online, it's a 50-50 Russian roulette kind of thing. But if you guys need that, I still got that money back. I went to Marshall's. Dude, I have a whole wardrobe for work from Marshalls, and it probably cost me about $300 for everything all together. And I'm talking designer names.
TJ Maxx and Marshalls is a place that I definitely love. I can't shop in there
And
for
those
my
cute
size,
shoes.
but it's definitely a good place to go when you're looking for like designer. You're looking for designer perfume. You want makeup, stuff like that. Especially when you don't want to pay the base price for it. Yeah, take your ass to
I
TJ
don't.
Maxx or Marshalls, and you got it.
Yep. Do they have a shop called Bells or Burke up there in Cleveland?
Yeah, yeah.
So
We have Bells.
so that's Burke.
We have Bells. We got Belk. We have Ross. We have Burke. We have TJ Maxx, Marshalls. Big Lots is still open here. Burlington Coat Factory is here. That's a big
I love me a
department
Burlington Coat
store.
Factory.
Burlington is still open here. So you can go. We got, what do we got? Five Below. We got what's that other store, Jared, that's got all the, what is it? The Good Brothers. What's the name of that one place? It's a place.
What I'm just trying to.
It's a place here that has just all discontinued clothes that the stores can't sell, and they put it in this big warehouse store, and you can go in there and buy it.
Those are the best stores because I went to like we have Bells down here in Tennessee, and I went there on Sunday, and they had Michael Kors bags, originally $300 bags. Too little, too rich for me, at $129
All right, Michael
for a
Kors.
full size Michael Kors bag. I
I
have
hate that
gotten
shitty
Michael
white
Kors
man.
jeans.
I can't stand him.
I know, I know, but I'm just using him for example. But it's just like you can buy, you actually go to stores and you know the stores you want to go to.
Right.
They have good stuff there. And I get it. It's like, ooh, $6 for a shirt for Amazon. But then you have to think about it's just like,
You wash it twice, and it's
are
not
you
gonna
gonna
be a
like
shirt
it?
no more.
You wash it, and sometimes you get the shit, and it doesn't look like what it does in the picture.
Right.
I ended up getting a shirt that had that was a crop top. It said nothing about being a crop top in the description. And I bought it for work. I'm like, I can
Going
see
to
going
work
in
with a
here, like
crop
maybe
top
my
is
boss would give me a
hilarious.
raise, but
That's hilarious.
it's just it. I know people are more like they don't want to go out anymore, but when it comes to clothes and shit, you do need to go out there and see it.
I
You
agree.
don't need
I
to be
think
giving Bezos money.
going to the mall is a lost art, and people just don't do it anymore. But also, there are more shops online that you can buy decent clothes from. Like, I know for a fact, if the tariffs wasn't so bad, I probably this year would be ordering a bunch of stuff from this Nigerian place that makes clothes, custom made clothes. I want a dress from them. I want a whole outfit from them. And I can't get it because the tariffs are astronomical from Africa. But ugh, I'm hoping once they fix everything that I can start ordering from them, because you can get your measurements. As soon as you have your measurements, you give them your measurements for everything, they'll custom make it to order. And it's not super expensive. I'm talking about maybe $150 for a couture outfit.
Jesus.
And I'm like, oh my God, if I could just order this and like, because I have to worry about import when it comes to customs, and you bring it in, and then once it hits the shores, I have to pay the tariff there. I don't pay it on the end when it comes from Africa. I have to pay it once it hits U.S. soil. I have to pay customs. And I'm like, Don said, he said, going to the mall be too much. You gotta go at the right time. Like, damn, y'all
It's a
wasn't mall
little.
kids.
The
Y'all
funny
wasn't
thing
mall
is,
kids.
Gen Alpha, my kids' generation, they're bringing the mall culture back.
Y'all gotta
Like
get up
my
and go
kid
to the
always.
mall. Like, going to the mall was a day. That was a
Oh
whole
my
day
God,
for
yeah.
us. We would go to the mall just to walk around and go to the food court and eat. And we would go look at stuff and window shop, or we would go in there because in the mall they started having little kiosks and stuff you can get stuff at. They used to, and then some malls have those massage chairs in there. Like, you can go to the mall and do so much. You gotta get
I
your
miss
ass up
bookstores and
and go
malls.
to the mall. Going to the mall to go shopping for your clothes, especially when you can get them in your hands right then. You're in
Oh
there.
my.
You can try your stuff on in the store. You don't have to worry about shipping shit back. You don't have to do none of that. You can go in there,
Yeah,
get
like
your stuff, buy it, come out. You got
oh, and
everything you need.
I loved it when I returned stuff and they're like, okay, do you want cash or credit? I'm like, cash.
Yes.
Like, that shit was like $30. I'm gonna have $30 in my hand. I miss bookstores and malls.
Oh, I love a good bookstore.
Rest in peace, Walden Books. I miss you.
I love a good bookstore. The smell of
I
it.
miss them when they were in the. My mom, she was smart. So when her and my dad had to like go clothes shopping, they knew I had like no attention span. And this was like late '90s, early 2000s. They would just tell me to go to the bookstore, and I would just go into the graphic novel section, and I would just sit there and read the graphic novels.
I was a
I couldn't
library
afford them.
girl. My mom was a library girl. My mom would take us to the library because she loved to read. So she would go and get her books for the week, and me and my brother and my sister would go in there, and we would be in there. My little brother liked to play with the cars and stuff in the little toy in the little kids section. And me and my sister would go pick out books, and then my mom would come get us after a couple, like an hour or two, and then we would leave, and we would all go home, and we would have our books. Our library cards would be renewed. Like, we would have everything. And my mom used to do that like just about every 2 weekends. We would go to the library twice a month because she really liked reading, and the library sold books. The library sold books. They had a little kiosk where they would sell books that they were no longer stocking. And I love that. I used to go with her every other weekend. We were going to the library. Don said he going to Friday. He gonna go buy some shorts and shoes at the mall. Attaboy. Don't go to Amazon because it ain't worth it.
Literally, like the malls are literally dying.
Ours is
Like,
thriving over here. What is
yeah,
it? South Park, Jared. I think that's the only mall right now
yeah.
that's
I
open
mean,
that's actually thriving is South Park.
some of them are. It's really sad. Like, how can I explain it? It's like, yeah, it's just the instant gratification, I think, of like buying it, because I'm just getting to the point now where if I buy something, I have to touch it, I have to feel it, I have to see it in real time.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna start coming back into play slowly, and then you'll see how the tech bros are gonna start, enticing you to spend more money. That's why TikTok Shop is such a big commerce thing right now. But I tell you what, I think that if you get up and you start going to the store more often, or you go over to you go to the mall every now and then and purchase your things right then and there, especially places you can get your shit at immediately, whatever store you can think of, they'll start bringing stuff back. Like, there's most of the time the mall don't work because the leasing for the stores is just too high. You know what I'm saying? It's just way too fucking expensive.
Yeah.
And then, like, I know we got off topic, so we'll get back on it in a second. But like, it's just too expensive to lease a store and to have a storefront in the mall. Even the kiosks are super expensive for monthly rent, and you want to be able to make money. You don't want to just be servicing the customers and you don't have anything to show for it. You want to be able to make money and sustain yourself. So a lot of people switch to online commerce because it could be the difference of Spotify will charge you $44 a month for hosting your website, whereas you have a kiosk, a standing, a front store that's going to cost you almost $300 to $400 a month. That's a massive difference in money that you could be making, money you could put back into your business, or money you could actually be using for you or your family. So I understand it. It's just, we can search for alternatives. If you want to shop online and you want to use a marketplace, there is a marketplace for Black owned businesses. They have a whole app. It's called Mira. Hold on, I'll put it in the comments. You guys can look it up. It is on all of the marketplaces. It's on Apple, it's on Android, and they have a bunch of Black owned businesses over there. And you can shop over there if you want to shop online. That's totally up to you. That's how you spell the app. Hold on. One second.
Plus, also getting out of the house and like the lost art of going out of the house and doing something for you is like
Yeah.
something people need to understand is that I like going to places without my husband or my kid, and I may not buy stuff from it, but it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna get out and I'm just gonna walk. Like I went to the mall last weekend and I did a whole lap around it, and I didn't buy a thing, but I was like, you know what? I'm glad I got out.
It was a
You put some
good day.
headphones on. No one bugs you. You can go into your stores. You can look around. You can get a pretzel. All good.
I love a good pretzel.
Mall pretzels are always the best.
Now, to get back to WWE and their shenanigans, because they've shenaned once and they're going to shenan again. I don't know if we're going to find out who took the pay cut, but it's somebody at the top. They say it's a big name. We don't know exactly who did it, but somebody did.
And I say if they find out who it is in the locker room, we don't need to know, but the locker room should know. And they need to jump their ass like it's the NXT parking lot.
I see you ain't right.
No, look, you're a multi-million-dollar company. You're hemorrhaging money. You're not going to take that money away from me to feed my family.
I'm trying to understand why they needed a superstar to take a pay cut. I'm really interested in what they're spending their money on and how much money they made off of Mania. Mania is one of their biggest money cash grabs, right? And they've expanded Mania Weekend into this massive entity, but they're not making money on it. And it's not, and to be fair, like if we're being honest, the economy being in the toilet is going to tank their profits, right? Because they're not a necessity company. They're an entertainment company, which means people aren't going to want to spend their money there simply because they are in existence. They're going to want to spend their money where they know it's going to matter and count. And given the fact that WWE has a heavy connection to the Trump administration, it doesn't help. So I want to know.
That could be it.
I want to know what you spent your money on in the fiscal year and what you made. I want to know what's going in and what's coming out. And I don't know. I still have a piece of stock from WWE, I think. I think I still have some stock. I might have sold it.
So, question for you. For y'all who that don't know, Chris has several degrees in business.
Thank you.
And so I actually have a question because this just kind of hit me a little bit. So WWE's biggest thing is that besides us, it's sponsors.
Right.
Right. Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a while since I took a business class. So even though they're sponsoring it, WWE has to pay them a certain amount to keep them as a sponsor, right?
No.
Okay.
Sponsors. Okay. So let's just do a crash course in like sponsorship, right? So as a
Mhm.
business, when you are asking to do a sponsorship, that usually means that you support an event, an activity, a person, or organization financially. So that means people like Pepsi, people like Coca Cola, people like Kool Aid, Fairlife, whatever business it is, Cricket Wireless, all these people pay to have sponsorships with WWE, whether it be to have that, prime drink station in their fucking ring, or they pay to have the logo on the mat, or if they pay to have their name on a turnbuckle. Whatever the case may be, they are not paying, WWE is not paying them anything. They're paying WWE. All of these companies have sent money to the E so that their company gets visibility through WWE. WWE sees billions of eyes. That is a very, very easy way to sponsor a company. So a company can easily sponsor them because of that. They'll say, hey, we want to advertise with you. WWE is like, okay, this is our rate for this particular tier level. You pick the level, we'll get back to you. Let's say it's Starburst. Starburst is like, we want to have a segment, we want to sponsor a whole match on one of your big PLEs. We don't want it to be one of the small ones. We want it to be in a major city in the US, and we want to sponsor a specific match. They'll tell them these are the matches we have available. You either pick one if it's available. All right, Roman Reigns is having a match with Jacob. Let's sponsor that. Okay, you'll be the sponsor for that. We'll make sure we announce it. We'll run your commercials. They've already paid for commercial ad revenue as well. Those are separate payments from the sponsorship. Okay? Sponsorships can happen in any kind of way. Sometimes a sponsor will donate to the company. So the sponsor might, if it's a food company, they may decide that the way they sponsor is not necessarily on the financial side, but it may be they handle certain things with certain superstars. Bianca Belair might be sponsored with, I don't know, Gatorade. So Gatorade will provide her with airfare for a week or two. They will send her free Gatorade for like a year as long as she constantly posts it on her social media, promotes it, and all that other kind of stuff. Sponsorships depend on how the contract is set up between the two businesses. More than likely with WWE, it is monetary. They are only interested in a financial transaction that benefits them on one end in terms of how they get paid. They get compensated to showcase this particular company. That's how the sponsorship is supposed to work. And I'm assuming that's how it works with WWE because I've yet to see them not accept a sponsor. They have sponsors for every fucking thing. They have sponsors for vignettes. They have sponsors for segments. They have sponsors for matches. Sponsors for the entire PLE of Backlash. There's a sponsor for that. There's a sponsor for the specific match between Jacob and Roman. They have their own sponsor for that match.
Okay, so that shoots my idea to shit. My idea is that they're not. I okay. I don't think they're paying somebody. Like something happened because we all know releases can happen at any time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very weird. Right after, not even about like maybe a week after WrestleMania, give or
They've done
take.
this before. They've released talent after Mania before.
I know, but even after well, okay, I'll be honest. That's a lot of stuff that people they didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
Okay, but if this is where my conspiracy theory falls apart. No, what I'm just trying to say is that I think, and I know they have a debt. TKO or WWE took on somebody's debt. I don't remember.
um, all of the companies had debt. If we're being honest, all of them did.
Okay, well there we go.
So I mean, I don't know for sure if like AAA had massive debt, but I know that they had a deficit when they took on when they merged. They had a debt, so I wasn't surprised.
I just something's just not sitting with me about this. They owe somebody money because I don't think Mania was as successful as they want us to think it was. It was probably great for the city of Vegas. It was probably great for the indie people getting talent booked and busy. I don't think WWE made as much money at Mania that they want us to think they did.
No, they didn't.
And I think they owe somebody money
You think
because you know how
they
you
owe
get
some people some money?
well, you know how you get that one person that you know they're not really a friend or something, and they're always kind of bragging like they have like all the good shit, but then like every once in a while they hit you up and they're like, hey, I'm in a little bit of a jam this month. Could you help me out? You know those kind of people I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like your friend that's like, hey, I really hate to do this, but can I like borrow $20 to get me through the week and I'll pay you back on payday? Or, um, if your friend's sick, you send them some food if you're DoorDash or not DoorDash, but Instacart or something like that. Like small things like that. I think it's old school mafia moves. They owe somebody money, a lot of money.
You think so?
They just don't want to say it. Because I don't know if maybe because like maybe it's the city of Las Vegas
I don't think
because
they
that
owe
would
Vegas
actually
no
make
money.
sense.
I don't think they owe Vegas
Like
any
I don't
money.
know.
I think they were trying to help Vegas rebound because Vegas was going down. That's why they was
I
offering
think they
people
owe
so
somebody
much.
money.
They were the weekend before Vegas and before Mania, or 2 weeks before Mania. Vegas had a package where you could stay at like the MGM Grand. You got unlimited drinks, 3 meals for 2 days and for 3 nights and 2 days. I believe it was 2 nights and 3 days. Yeah, 2 nights and 3 days, and it was like $375. There was a whole package for that, and I was like, for Vegas, nobody's staying at Vegas and having like drinks, and they got tickets. You got tickets to a show, and it was only $375, and I thought it was fake, but it was real. Me and Tears looked it up. It was real, and I was like, this is insane. That means they're not getting any tourists to Vegas at all.
Mm-mm.
So I don't think
Well,
for a
think about
minute.
it.
I don't think
Vegas,
for
the
a minute
biggest
that it
thing
was.
is gambling.
Yeah, but like my thing is, they went back to Vegas to give Vegas more money because they had got such a great thing going with Vegas that last year. And it was like,
I
well, we need you guys to come back. And I'm like, yeah, but you could have like went back in like 5 years.
because I think so. Okay, hear me out. Because now I'm in like full conspiracy detector mode.
I can't.
Last year, they announced it was going to be at New Orleans. You know, people who are at that show, they are already booking rooms for next year's Mania. When they announced it a couple weeks later that they're going back to Vegas after making that announcement, that pissed a lot of people off because people were like, I'm not going back to Las Vegas. Vegas, like, it is bad. I have a friend who lives out there right now. he knows people. You would think Las Vegas hospitality would be making stacks every night. He knows a girl who went from being able to pay her rent off the first week of the month to having to pick up another job because she's not making enough as a waitress in Las Vegas, working at a casino. I think it just pissed a lot of people off because they didn't want to go back to Vegas. Because even Nicole said a lot of times she would definitely not be going back because it was crazy expensive. Even when they try to like pump drinks and shit, Vegas can get expensive.
Yeah, Nicole says she's lifting her savings going out there.
Yeah, so it's just like, so I understand they're trying to help Vegas out.
I don't.
But at the same time, you also have in the cheap seats for $325 to the point. You had discount codes, which is nothing new. But then when we start seeing 2 weeks before Mania, and seats are 50% off, and the nosebleeds now $117.
And they still didn't sell out the seats. They still did not sell out the seats. And from what I understand, they comped tickets that night. For night 1 and night 2, they comped tickets.
And it's just, I think because people, I mean, it's like, I don't even think we're in a recession. We're in a depression right now. Like, this is not good.
If they weren't fucking messing with the oil.
Well,
weirdos.
We got a fucking man-child in charge who shoots himself on a daily basis. And they know they do because too many people have came out and said that he smells like shit. Like fresh shit. Like, I don't know. Oh God, just bringing back memories from working in the hospital.
Not fresh shit. That's nasty.
I think it's just because, first off, the fans were pissed because Mania in New Orleans always goes off.
Right?
People are always talking about how it's already a party city. You're partying for a whole week straight. You have all the indie shows going on from Monday afternoon till Mania hits. You're going all week. It's fun. The wrestlers have more fun. You can tell they're cutting loose when they're, doing whatever. And it's like, in New Orleans, it's expensive, but it's not as expensive as Vegas. So people are probably looking forward to that. Because Daryl said that if they had went to New Orleans, we probably wouldn't afford WrestleMania. But he would want to do the whole GCWs and the blood sports and Effie's Big Gay Brunch, all the indie shows. And I'm like, that would work perfectly for me. Like okay, cool.
I don't know, dude, but I know that there's a big shift coming. And if they don't get their shit together and fix this immediately, there are going to be some major problems, like people walking out. And if they get enough people to walk out, that's a problem. You have a big ass problem on your hands.
They're not doing house shows, so that's money that they're losing doing that.
And I kind of understand why, because people get injured so bad on the house shows that it cuts them off from the regular stuff. And it's like, that's why I said my idea for rotation worked. I bet y'all want a rotation now. I told y'all. I knew that this could be done if you do it the right way. All you gotta do is split that team in half. You got enough people on the roster who are not seen on a daily basis. They're not the ones who are actually wrestling every Monday or Friday or Tuesday. So put them on your house show tour and let them tour. If they get injured, it's okay. They can rehab. They can come back. They're not in the middle of a story. They're currently wrestling. If the guys who are on TV want to work a house show or two, they can. They just don't need to be on the full schedule for the house shows. Okay? People will come out and see a WWE superstar, period. It doesn't always have to be Becky Lynch and Roman Reigns on the card. Although it does bring, give you a lot to be able to bring people in. You can get a big draw with just your mid-carders if you really put in some effort and work towards it. But they're not thinking. All they care about is their bottom line, and their bottom line could be expanded if they split the roster. You could have kept guys like Apollo Crews. You could have kept Zoe Starks. You could have kept Alba Fire, put them on the house show tour, and let them build up some momentum on the house show, and then introduce them to the main roster and let them come in and rub shot. That's how it could have been done.
They ruined WWE. I'm just gonna say it. TKO has fucked up WWE, and it's just like we're never unless Act of God happens. It's never going to go back to the way it used to be. The prices are going to be increasing. We noticed that with merchandise. The cost of merchandise has gone up. Tickets have gone up.
Club. Now they got Club WWE.
And they said that's a lot of that is trying to silence the IWC in general because WWE is going to be able to monitor and maintain that shit.
A lot of IWC people who create content are not going to sign up for that. So I don't know how they.
No, and they've been sniping people with the content creation. And a lot of it, and this is just rumors, just word on the street, is that TKO doesn't like it when people talk negative about their involvement with WWE.
Oh, boo.
So they're going around sniping people who talk negatively.
I would say,
here's a lot of the reasons, like TKO, I know you're listening. We are allowed to say what we want to say about you, WWE, anybody in particular. Is there action for my consequences? Probably. I haven't met them yet. Yeah, I know it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah, we'll sit down, we'll talk.
Yeah. But to quote CM Punk, I have a microphone. A live microphone.
Right.
And I don't give a fuck who you are. I'm going to say what I think about your company. Your company is absolute dog shit. My kid and her friends could probably run it better than what you're doing right now. And right now they're all obsessed with Gravity Falls and the Gorillas and TV Girl. You want to throw... Because I know you don't want to be on longer, but I'm going to go off. You want to say you want to blame everybody but yourself for where we're at right now. I'm not trying to sound like Jim Cornette. I'm not trying to sound like a wrestling purist. But you have sucked the fun out of wrestling. This was the first Mania since in a really long time, I had no hype for. This is not a Mania where I watch matches and I'm like, oh shit, well, prove me wrong. There was maybe, 2 or 3 matches on the whole card that I actually had interest in.
Yeah, and like Roman and CM Punk's match was actually pretty damn good. I can't even be mad at them. They proved me wrong.
Proved us wrong, man. Shut up. Shut us
up. They shut me up. I was like, okay, well.
But what if they didn't do that, though? What if it was just another match where
it would have been a terrible night, too, but nobody is going to admit it because it was fucking Roman, so.
No.
It is what it is.
And it's just you guys have single-handedly ruined wrestling. The only good thing about TKO being involved with WWE is that you're actually uniting the online wrestling community, which is
I
pretty dangerous when we're all on the same page.
No, for real. And I honestly think the same thing I said about Trump being in office is the same thing I'll say about TKO. Is eventually they're gonna have to pull back. They're not gonna have a choice.
They're gonna have to fall in line.
They're gonna have to pull back. They're gonna have to allow Triple H to do his job, and they're gonna have to just, let folks move. Because here's the thing, and then we'll probably get out of here and leave you guys alone. When it comes to the business itself, it's not the same as UFC. UFC has different rules, different fighters. They can go 3 to 6 months and not do a fight. WWE is year round. They're every day damn near. And everybody's talking about, oh, well, AEW is a better company. And I, to an extent, I do believe that. They're also owned by billionaires, and no billionaire is a good man. I'm sorry. There's no way to get around that. They're all ruthless in their own right, and they just haven't shown their true colors yet. I will say that for the most part, the superstars are taken care of as long as you're in the end of AEW, you'll be taken care of. But I still say that I don't like the way Trey Miguel got treated when he went to AEW. And I feel like something about that is going to come out eventually. It just hasn't come out yet. So when it does, just remember that I said that it was what it was. Just remember that. But I think that WWE is on the verge of having their bell rung. It's going to come swift, and if it doesn't come from the fans, it's going to come from the superstars themselves, because after a while they're going to get tired of being fucked with. It's going to get to a point where they're just like, let us do our fucking jobs. You can't have a company without us. So it's either let us do our jobs or we're leaving, we're walking. If they band together and leave together, WWE would be destitute. I don't care how many superstars they got in the back. I don't care about any of that. That company would rot from the inside out. And that would kill Vince McMahon. It would kill him.
Oh, yeah.
That company is like his child. He treated that company better than he did his own son. Okay?
Wow.
He did. I'm not crazy. Shane McMahon even said it. He said he was jumping off of tables and fucking cages so he can get his dad's respect and approval. That's goddamn crazy. I was like, go to therapy. Okay?
Thank you.
Go to therapy, please. Your father is not worth the paper that he prints out. Okay? He's not worth it. I'm not
His mama ain't either.
All right? No. She's proven that because she's a weak ass bitch for staying with him. Anyways. That's a separate conversation. But your father is not worth the time or the effort you put in to try to get his respect. He doesn't even respect himself. How the hell are he's going to respect you? I do believe that he loves Shane to a certain extent. But I think he just perpetuated the same cycle his father bestowed upon him. And I'm glad that Shane broke the generational curse. But...
All I can say is that right now, support your local indies, support the indie wrestling, MLW, TNA. I know I'm probably someone's name. GCW, like go to your local wrestling event where you pay like $5 and watch that. Don't be that person that complains, like that's the best example. Don't be that person who complains about the TV show that you used to like suck. But you keep watching it just complain about it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. We tried to hold out. We were trying to hold out. She had to work today, so she couldn't be a part of the show. We tried. We got up to an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'll say this and then we can go. You are not a bad person because you choose to continue watching WWE. That doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad person if you watch the PLEs. It is up to you to decide if you want to be invested in the business side of this or if you just want to be a fan. Because I would much rather love to be a fan. I would love to do that. But unfortunately, being someone who creates content on social media, I am privy to certain information. And well, sometimes we are not allowed to ignore said information. Now, I know that TKO isn't doing a grand old job with WWE, but at some point, they're going to have to understand that the way that they're operating is killing their business. It's not emboldening it. They seem to believe that because the numbers reflect differently right now, that later on, that's not going to change. And they're sorely mistaken. If they do not correct this error now, down the line when we get to Mania next year is really going to be your telltale. If they decide to stay and go to Jeddah or Riyadh for Mania next year and don't go to London instead, that is where they're going to lose the most money. They lost hella money at Royal Rumble this year. They lost hella money at Royal Rumble this year. Those seats were not full there. They did not sell out. Royal Rumble wasn't even that great of a show, if we're being honest. The booking of Royal Rumble wasn't that good. And, I mean, the people who won were the right people to win, but at the same time, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't care, you know? And I fear that this year, not only is Mania going to suck next year, but Survivor Series is going to be terrible this year. SummerSlam, I don't think
one of my favorites.
I don't think SummerSlam's going to be that bad. The one PLE that I think is going to eat down is Money in the Bank. Because it's going to be in New Orleans. And everybody's going to go to New Orleans. Okay? Everybody's going to New Orleans. I'm hoping that by the time we get to Mania or by the time we get to Money in the Bank, some really fun stuff is cooking and it makes it fun to watch again. Because they have good pieces. They've got good things going. I just want them to make it work. And I feel like they could if they start maneuvering in the right way. But it's WWE. You know, they don't listen to us. They think we're just on the internet yelling and screaming at our TV screens because it gives us content. Which is true to a certain extent. But we also want to be able to yell and scream at the TV because it's good content coming from the TV. Okay?
Right.
That's what we want. We just want to be entertained, and then we'll shut up about the other shit as long as you entertain us.
If we're not entertained, we're not going to watch and spend your money on you.
That's all we're asking. It's just entertain us, please, and stop being stupid. You know, stop with the stupid shit. We're tired. We're exhausted. We can't do this anymore. We're trying to ignore shit, and we are going through hell in our real lives, and we come to you to be able to escape, and you ruining it for us. You're ruining our quiet place. You're soiling it. You're soiling it. We want our quiet places back. So chill out. Because the numbers in NXT going to continue to rise, and WWE's numbers on the main roster are going to go to shit. You remember that time when Black and Gold was dominating and everybody was watching Black and Gold and nobody was watching the main roster?
No, because and think about that. NXT was only an hour long.
Yeah, it was an hour then, wasn't it?
They managed to pack so much stuff in one hour. They cut it up episodic. So every week we saw different people.
Yeah, and
then by the time their PLEs came along, everybody was there.
For 5 years. And the Undisputed Era in every version
Girl.
I'm going to say this and then I'll leave. I'm for real this time. This is what I think WWE should do. Number one, stop listening to Mark Shapiro and anybody else from the TKO board. Stop it. Nick Khan, go back to your desk. Keep your ass out of the creative team meetings. We don't need you there. You don't have to bring in every single influencer, every single celebrity for every single story. Okay?
Please
it's okay
stop.
to have one or two. But to have an influencer, celebrity involved in WrestleMania, involved in every single PLE, that's unnecessary. If your product is not good enough to advertise and work on its own, then maybe work on curating a decent product where adding a celebrity is just an addition. It's not a necessity. Yeah? Work on curating your stars so that your stars can actually house the shows. They can actually shoulder the weight of the show. So you don't have one entity like Roman Reigns shouldering the weight of a show. So you don't have people like Cody and people like CM Punk shouldering the weight of the show all the time. Sometimes it's okay to rely on the Carmelo Hayeses, on the Sami Zayns, on the Julias, on the Meechins, the B-Fabs. Those people are the ones who are going to uphold the company. If you think about how OG WWE ran, a lot of what made WWE fun wasn't always the Stone Cold Steve Austins, the Roman Reigns, the Chris Jerichos, and all of those antics. A lot of times what people were invested in were watching Rey Mysterio win the cruiserweights, watching Billy Kidman and Paul London go at it for the 50th time, okay? Watching the mid-card with the tag team titles have decent matches, and watching the women actually close and open shows with decent storylines that were unique and different. We didn't always need to have Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and Triple H and everybody. They were an addition that we happily welcomed because they were able to anchor the show and the other guys were able to keep the boat afloat. You need to go back to that business model. I don't need to rely on Roman Reigns to enjoy a show. You also need to balance your shows. I can't stress this enough. You did not have enough women performing on Monday. You had vignettes and backstage segments for the girls, but you didn't have them in matches.
You're telling me 2.5 hours of Raw, not one woman match.
Right.
Not one.
There was no women's match on Raw on Monday.
You saw them, but it wasn't no match.
They were there. Sol Ruka had a segment. Becky came out. You had the women coming out for Judgment Day when JD McDonough had his match. There was a backstage segment with them. You saw Maxine, but there was no women's match on Raw. There was a match between the Grandes, Los Grande Americano, and there was a match between Americano and Los Americanos, and all of them were mixed up together. They had their trios match. There was a match between Penta, Javon, Rusev, and Ethan. There was a match between there was another match in there. Oba's open challenge match was there. And then they had the segment with Roman and Jacob at the end. In the beginning, and they had the match with Joe Hendry and Austin Theory. That led to Street Profits. That led to Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins opened the show. That led to Rollins getting taken out by Braun Breaker. But there was no women's matches. There was not one women's match on the card. Were they there? Yes. Did we see them? Yes. They did not compete.
Nope. Most time the women got was the promo cut between Asuka and Io.
Asuka and Io had a vignette as well, which I forgot to talk about. So you had that. You had Soul's time on the card. That was probably the longest two segments that they had for the women. Was Asuka and Io's promo between each other and the promos cut between Soul and Becky Lynch when Soul was signing her Raw contract. That was it in terms of length and time. That was the longest thing we got from the girls. They did not perform. Mm-mm. So you gotta balance your cards. You have to. The women should have been on there. You could have taken out, and I hate to say this, and you're probably gonna get mad. You could have taken out Obafemi's challenge, to be honest with you. I would have Obafemi, and I know this seems really, really fucked up, but I would have Obafemi take a hiatus. Because when he does come back, it's going to erupt. Like, and if you're not going to use Oba to go after a title at the current moment to keep the momentum going, then I would save Obafemi for something else. Once Roman is done with whoever he's done with, or once Cody's done with whoever he's done with, he can go up against Obafemi again. Obafemi hasn't challenged, but they would need him to win. Cody would drop that title. Had you did it right from the beginning, like had Cody drop the title to Randy, and then had Randy proceed forward, having Oba lurking around Randy Orton wouldn't be such a problem. You know what I'm saying? It would have worked. It would have been interesting. But I don't think that you guys are thinking things through. I also think because Brock Lesnar retired so quickly, this caused Obafemi to be out of, commission. He doesn't have anything planned. When I feel like you could be putting him up against somebody like Omos. Omos has been doing really good work over in New Japan. He's been working really nice in AAA. You could bring Omos to the main roster, have him build himself up, and then let them have the rivalry that they couldn't have between Brock and Oba, and let it be between Omos and Oba. You could do that. There's so many things that you can do besides what you're doing. That would work. But you need to keep your women on the card. And you need to also shake up this roster. I don't know what's going on, but there's not a lot of star power. Your women's roster is severely lacking. Liv Morgan is champion, and she is not defending her title at Backlash from what I understand. That's problematic for me. She should be competing at Backlash. You took out Stephanie due to her injury. Fine, she's written off TV. But now who's next? You're not building up anything between Roxanne, Raquel, and Liv Morgan. You're teasing it, but you're not really giving anything that says Roxanne's going to go after the title. You're not doing that. You've built up no one on that roster to be able to challenge Liv Morgan for that championship. Even if Becky didn't have a title, I don't want to see Becky Lynch going back after that title against Liv Morgan. Don't want to see it. So there's nobody on the roster right now who's going after Liv Morgan for the title, which to me is wild. That is incredibly insane. I don't know what's going on. I don't really care, but you got to fix it. Y'all need to get your asses in gear and get things fixed. You got a lot of work to do. TKO, mind your business and let WWE do what it does. Mind your business. If the money is not mathing, don't involve yourself in shit that has nothing to do with you. The only thing you need to be concerned with is bottom lines. Where is the money going? How this money is being allotted to said departments. How it's being spent. Where our quarterly findings and earnings need to be next quarter. That's your only concern. If you are so deeply ingrained in the creative, you are losing the plot, sirs and ma'ams, and I need you to fall back. And Dwayne, if your ass is sitting on the damn board and you don't see what's going on and you're not saying anything and you're just cheesing on some Maui shit, you need to have your ass whipped. Because you know what it's like to be on the bottom end of this. You know what it's like to be a superstar. And you know what it's like to watch from the outside. So I think you should have more involvement in this instead of putting on wigs and dressing up as Maui for a live action Disney movie that's not going to do well.
And that ass wig.
Your priorities. I need you to get them together. Plus, I mean, $3 million watch, babe.
Hashtag eat the rich.
We're going to eat the rich at this point. Get your asses together because you're losing your hardcore fans. I think Ariel Helwani said it the best when he said that, yeah, you'll gain casuals, but casuals don't sustain the business. Hardcore fans do, and he's right. We're the ones who purchase the merchandise. We buy the belts. We buy tickets. We're the ones who are putting our asses in seats every single week. And if you lose your hardcore fans, your main fan base, you are putting your business in a swing that is going to make sure you're out of business by 5 years. So I highly recommend that you get your shit together and start making some shifts and changes and stop putting your hand in the cookie jar. Okay? Okay. We're going to go. And hopefully next week, Nicole will be here. But you guys know Janae, she does her thing. She works and she's getting her mental health together. So hopefully in a month or so, we'll do a special show where Janae can be there and we can catch her up because she wants to do a catch-up show. So hopefully we can do that for her. And you guys will hear y'all favorite come back because that's what all I hear is when Janae is going to come back, which is rude as fuck because I be here every week. Disrespectful. But whatever. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Down for the count.